What's up guys, it's Kelly and today I've got another swatch and review for you. I'm so excited about today's swatch and review because this is a highly anticipated collection. This is the China Glaze and Sesame Street 50th anniversary winter/holiday collection. You guys have been begging me to swatch it. I just got them in the mail. I immediately swatched them and I was so excited. They do an incredible holiday collection every year that's all like super sparkly, exciting finishes and no creams. And last year they did a collection with the Grinch and I was obsessed with that collection. So I'm really excited about this one. They also just did a Sesame Street collaboration for the summer that I also loved, so there's really just a lot to be excited about here. So anyway, like I said, we have 12 different shades. They're all exciting finishes. We've got no creams in this collection. They are all in these fun little limited edition bottles that have the Sesame Street characters on them. They're all super sparkly. They're all super fun. So let me just get started with the swatches. So as always, I am using base coat underneath all of my swatches to protect my natural nail and prevent staining. This is the Grouchy base coat, which I will link down below. So first up in this collection, we have the shade Fala Man, I cannot get over these names. Have I mentioned before that the Count was my favorite Sesame Street character? Anyway, this is a really beautiful sheer purple jelly that has a really intense gold glitter fleck running throughout it. I think this color is so stunning. I get full opacity in 3 coats, but I do think it looks great as a 2-coater if you like that sort of visible nail line jelly consistency type of look. So I'm really into it. I love it both ways. I think it's super bright and festive, but honestly, just because of that base color, I can see this being an any time of year color. Like I can definitely see this being a really bright, fun summer color or being like a really fun spring color. So this is a really great all around shade. Next up, we have the shade A Gift for You, which is a really beautiful magenta-y pink full coverage glitter. So I just want to point out there are a bunch of full coverage glitters in this collection. I am showing you guys each of them as 3 coaters because I'm a lazy person and I don't always want to sponge on my colors. However, if you do want them to pack a really bright punch on your nails, I would definitely recommend sponging them on for full coverage. You'll probably end up using slightly less product because it's just a little bit easier to work that way and then you won't have any patchiness. But just so you guys know, you can also apply these normally and you will achieve full coverage. So this one, I got 3 coats full coverage for. It really wasn't patchy for me. I thought it ended up looking absolutely gorgeous and I just love it. It's such a bright, fun color. You can also just layer this over a similar pink and it'll have a very similar effect. Next up, we have the shade On the Nice List, which is a red line glitter that also has red micro glitters in it, and this is another full coverage one. I just have to say, the only thing that annoyed me about this collection was that this and Gift for You were not swapped with their names, because this with the line glitters, it looks like fur. Why didn't they call this one A Gift for You? I think that makes no sense. Regardless, it is a really beautiful color. I am referring to it as the furry glitter from now on because that's what it looks like. This one was a little bit patchy for me in terms of applying it normally, and this is one of the ones that I would definitely recommend wearing as a full coverage glitter if you sponge it on, or you can also just layer this. I think this would also look actually really great layered over black, but you could also definitely layer this over a red shade and it'll have a similar look. You won't get as much depth, but you can definitely save some of the polish and it'll last a little bit longer if you do that. So as you can see, I just ended up having to kind of like go in and I want to say manually, but I know that's not the right word, kind of just touch up some areas that were a little patchy for me, but with 3 coats, I think it still looked super awesome. Next up, we have the shade Giggling All the Way, which is a really interesting, very warm pink shimmer that also has like a cooler pink as well as a champagne shimmer running throughout it. And this one almost has a little bit of that pearlized streaky finish. This one ended up being actually a 2-coater for me. I was really impressed with the coverage on this one. I was expecting it to be a lot more sheer, and I'm gonna be honest, I think this is actually a really unique color and I totally love the way it looked. Not necessarily a holiday shade for me, but I do think it's really beautiful. Next up, we have the shade 50 Shimmering Years, and this one is actually probably my favorite in this collection. I was a little disappointed on the first coat. So just as a description, this is like a champagne micro glitter that also has slightly larger holographic hex glitters in it. On the first coat, I really didn't get any of those hollow hex glitters showing through. On the second coat, you could see see, I had like 1 or 2. On the third coat, I ended up getting a little bit more, but to be honest, I love the way this shade looks. I think it doesn't even need that holographic sparkle to make it look so special. Like, to me, this is the perfect New Year's color. I just think it's so elegant and chic and simple. Like, honestly, I think they could have just done without the holo glitters, even though I do love holo. I think it just looks beautiful as like a sparse glitter. Next up, we have the shade hashtag This Is My Street, which is a really holographic shade. It's got some champagne and brown and blue holographic hex glitters in it, and this looks really beautiful as a topper. I ended up putting this over black, and it honestly looked like a beautiful, like, full galaxy of stars, and I absolutely love the way this looked. I also wanted to try it out as a full coverage glitter. I'm not gonna lie, when I first got this, I was low-key thinking this looks a lot like Luna by Starly, which is one of my collaboration shades, but once I actually pulled out Luna, I realized they actually really don't look similar at all. They are a similar type of holographic glitter, but this one is a lot more sparse and a lot bigger. So again, I did end up having to sort of put in some areas that were a little patchy for me, but I was able to get what I would consider full coverage in 3 coats. You could still see visible nail lines, so you would definitely have to sponge on a color like this. You can't necessarily paint it on for full coverage, but I still think it is a really beautiful shade. It's super sparkly, it's super festive. This would be perfect for any special event, so I really love it. Next up, we have the shade Celebrate, which is a really beautiful bright yellow glitter that is also a full coverage, and this is a similar formula to the other glitters that I've shown so far. And again, I am just applying 3 coats for full coverage, but kind of going in and fixing some of those patchier areas. This one for me was actually the easiest to work with, I think, because this one I really didn't have to do much in order to cover up that patchiness, because some of the glitters in here were so small that they really did a lot of that covering up for me. I almost got full opacity in 2 coats, but I did end up throwing on a third because I think that really just covered everything up and made it look really nice. This is another really beautiful, like, New Year's shade to me. It's definitely not a gold, it is a bright yellow, and I totally love it, so really happy with this one too. Next up, we have the shade A Grouchy New Year, which in the bottle is a really beautiful green glitter that also has big gold hex glitters in it that to me looked like a Christmas tree or a wreath or something awesome, but honestly, no matter how many times I tried, I was not able to get this full coverage on my nails, so I ended up showing you guys over black. I was a little disappointed with that because I thought it was gonna look so cool full coverage. You could probably sponge this one on, and honestly, I like it over black, but I was just a little disappointed in that lack of full coverage like the others. Next up, we have the shade Brought to You By, which is a really beautiful green shimmer, and this one is actually such a gorgeous shade because it has that really cool undertone to it. It's almost like a foresty green or like a sea green. There's just something that is so enchanting about it, and it actually has this really intense bluish sort of shimmer running throughout it. It's really hard to see on camera, but in person I think it's shown through really beautifully, and this was another one that ended up being 2 coats for full coverage, which I always get really excited about because I think this one is just really impressive. I loved the formula on it. It was a little bit streaky upon application, but as it dried you lost a little bit of that streakiness, so just a really stunning color all around. I definitely want to wear this for Christmas. Next up, we have the shade Me Ate Santa's Cookies, which is a really beautiful pearlized icy blue shade, and this was another one that I just absolutely fell in love with. As you guys may know, I know that a lot of people don't really love that pearlized finish, but I am absolutely obsessed with it. I think it just looks so cool and interesting and elegant, and I think this paired with this color is just such a really beautiful winter shade. Like, I could see myself wearing this in the snow, and I don't know, I just love it. I want to try stamping with it. I did get 2 coats for full coverage on this one. Next up, we have the shade Since 1969, which is a really beautiful gunmetal gray full coverage glitter, and this one was actually a little bit more full coverage than all the others in this collection because this one is actually in a slightly darker base. So looking at it a little bit closer, I think it might actually be almost like a black jelly base that has silver glitters in it, which makes it look so interesting and beautiful, and I was actually able to get full coverage in just 2 coats. Like, look at this color. It is so stunning. This is an any time of year color. I do not just think this is a holiday shade. And last but definitely not least, we have the shade T is for Tinsel, and that's good enough for me. I'm just kidding. But in all seriousness, this is another really beautiful shade. It is a full coverage silver glitter that also has larger silver hex glitters in it, as well as a really interesting and unique blue shimmer that runs throughout it. So the blue shimmer I think isn't as bright or as vivid as you might think it is, but the way that it looks with that silver, I think it just makes it look so unique and so beautiful. Like, I think that really elevates the silver color and just makes it a lot more exciting. It was a tiny bit patchy on that last third coat. I might have needed a fourth, but honestly, I like a little bit of visible nail showing through, so I really liked it anyway. Overall, a really beautiful color. So overall, as expected, totally loving them. I do like the glitters, and I like the fact that most of them are full coverage. I was a little bit disappointed that that one was not a full coverage glitter, but I still love the way that it looks, so I'm totally happy with that. But yeah, overall, really into this collection. I think they're really beautiful. I love that China Glaze is now fully embracing the wide flat brush, even though it is a little bit thinner than the regular wide flat brush that you see from most brands like OPI and Sally Hansen. So they are, it's somewhere like it meets you in the middle, you know what I mean? So you don't have to worry about them being too wide for your nails, because they're still pretty thin, but they're flat enough that, I don't know, they're just so easy to work with. I really love them. So these polishes are available wherever China Glaze is sold. They are limited editions, so just keep that in mind. They're not going to be around forever. They're available at Ulta, Sally Beauty, HB Beauty Bar. I will link all of those down below and you guys can have your pick of where you want to get them, or of course you can also get them in stores while they last. But yeah, that is it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Give it a thumbs up if you like my swatch and review videos, and if you are not already subscribed to my channel, please consider subscribing, because I do a lot of these and you're gonna be buying a lot of polishes and you're gonna blame me for it, and I'm okay with that. I'm prepared to take that blame. But yeah, leave me a comment below letting me know which color is your favorite, if you're planning on picking up any of these, and your thoughts in general. Would love to hear from you, and I always respond to my comments. And yeah, that's it, so I'll talk to you guys later. Bye. Alright, so fun fact, obviously I'm in a different filming area. I tried to make it look as similar as my usual filming area. I feel like I always try to just, like, you know, have a little bit of my tower, have a little bit of my YouTube play button, and just kind of keep it relatively consistent, but I am still kind of figuring out exactly how I want this to look. I am in my new office. So if you guys haven't seen, I posted a little moving vlog over on my vlog channel, and yeah, it's all over there. And also, second fun fact part 2, I also am sick. So if I sound weird, it's because I'm getting over a cold, and I also have strep throat. So there's a lot going on right now. So if I sound nasalier than usual, I promise it's not like the acoustics of this room. It's because I'm sick. But I still really wanted to swatch these, so that's what I did. But yeah, that's it. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.